There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonko table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonko table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks. Welcome to the latest and the greatest from the Yonko tables. That is the voice of Grandmaster Hoop coming at you from Osaka, Berlin, Paris, and New York, home to the four continentals, because we are here to go ahead and not be excommunicado by the high table. That's right. Those are references to the John Wick franchise, because we're here to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. That's right, folks. It's been damn near 10 years since we've been first introduced to Keanu Reeves as the titular character, and now we're here for the fourth entry in the film franchise, ever-growing film franchise, and we'll get into that more. With me, as always, is DrJaceAttorney. DrJaceAttorney, are you here for John Wick 4? And there's only one correct answer.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Very good. Say no more. We are not alone in this journey. We have some supernovas who are here, I think, for John Wick Chapter 4. Let's see who's in the house tonight. All right, let's get down to it. Can we all collectively answer this question? Are we here for John Wick Chapter 4? And there's only one correct answer. On my count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah, we're here. It's been 9 years specifically since we've first been introduced to John Wick and Keanu Reeves. What is everybody's kind of history with John Wick? For me, I might be the newest to the table. The high table. Namely because I've been put on to John Wick by Rose the Crafter here and Maria Casas. And I do also recall Dr. Rika mentioning how she loves a lot of the action scenes here. What about y'all? When did y'all get on board with John Wick?
Well, like the series in general, or just
Sure. Yeah, the series. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching them since the first movie, like when that was the only one that was out. It had Keanu Reeves. I like Keanu Reeves a lot. I had a personal stake in the story of John Wick. I think I've told you this multiple times.
Oh, would you like to enlighten everybody else?
I've I've always had this back burner story in the back of my mind where I always thought, oh man, it would be really cool if I could put together a movie at some point about a guy that goes ballistic after his dog gets killed. And he goes on a killing spree trying to take revenge for the actions inflicted upon his dog. I didn't have anything planned about some background underground assassination syndicate. But, I heard about John Wick and I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds a little bit similar to my dream story. Oh, no, it is. And then, bam, I watched it. It was bittersweet. I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is partially my story on the big screen, and it's doing so well. Yay, John Wick.
So you wanted to make sure that John Wick did not live up to the expectations of your dream story?
No, I went to it thinking like, oh, it must be very similar to it. And the first portion, it kind of was. And I thought, wow, like, don't we all have a story like that? I think you have one about Abbott Elementary.
I wrote Abbott Elementary years ago. I really did. I had the concept. It is what it is. That's a story for another day.
It is what it is. It's bittersweet. Every time I see myself clapping at the end of a John Wick movie, there's a little tear down my face.
Absolutely. What about the rest of y'all? John Wick.
Yeah, I pretty similarly, not the backstory, but I heard about the
I
first
also
one.
wrote John Wick.
No. I heard about the first one, which I watched, was very kind of invested, really love Keanu Reeves, love action movies. And then I didn't see the first one in theaters. Every other one I have in theaters once I picked up the first one. So I've been here relatively since the start. And always happy to see what the next installment is. I've really, really enjoyed the whole franchise, frankly.
Yeah, I saw it back in 2014, maybe 2015-ish on and I hope I don't get in trouble, digital bootleg. That is where I saw the first John Wick, digital bootleg.
It'd be like that.
It is what it is. I was like, this is a really dark, like lighting wise movie. So I remember watching it on screen and being like, man, it's so dark. I can barely see anything. But I loved it. I loved it from then and the choreography. And then that opened the floodgates. After that, I started to actually go see them for 2, 3, and 4. And so now we're here.
We are here, and dare I say, yeah, I guess I feel John Wick has raised the bar for what an action movie needs to be, or what it should be.
You say that.
Go ahead.
I have looked up since John Wick, there have been numerous attempts at copycats.
Ooh.
As far as like the style, like the neon lights, kind of the lighting, some of the more attempts at intricate choreography. There's been like a ton. Netflix has a lot of them.
Can you give an example?
Yeah.
Which one is giving?
Gunpowder Milkshake. There's like one called Kate. Even Nobody has like some John Wick
with Bob
flavor.
Odenkirk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So there has been like this increase of like relatively like one-ish character focused like action movies that have like this similar vibe. And I will go ahead and say none have really lived up to the quality I think that we get in the John Wick franchise. I will say Nobody was good. The bus scene was really cool in that movie, but as far as like the quality of set pieces, of fight choreography, of camera work, of just like star power, Keanu Reeves and the rest of the cast that continues to follow him over the course of 4 films, we're not touching it.
Yeah, I show not tell. John Wick does a very good job at showing what needs to be done for an action film. Yeah, I don't know, just right off rip, I feel every film ups the ante, and every film very much fits in the narrative, but then again, it takes it so much further with the action, and it just keeps going. And I am hooked now. I've watched them within the last couple of weeks. I'm hooked, and I'm not going anywhere. But this is the 4th entry in the film. This is a relatively cursed point for a lot of film franchises.
Which come to mind? Which come to mind?
Bad one. I can't think
Name
of good
one.
ones. Do you have a good one?
You don't think Toy Story is a good one, no?
Okay, Toy Story. It's good.
It's okay.
It's good. It's good.
Stranger Tides.
I think Mission Impossible 4, which is Ghost Protocol, is pretty solid.
Okay,
I would
that's a good
say, 5 and 6 are chef's kiss.
I love Fallout though. I love Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh, but 4 is a pretty solid kind of follow-up, and I think starts kind of the reinvigoration. I have a lot of love for 3, but Ghost Protocol was a pretty strong 4th sequel, I would say.
Okay.
Shrek Forever After.
Shrek 3's better.
Oh wow! Ew! Oh god.
We will come back when we do our Shrek ranking.
Our Shrek tier list.
Our Shrek franchise. Yes.
Goodness.
Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No. Age of Extinction, Transformers.
Oh no, Mark Wahlberg was the downfall of that franchise. See, it's hard. It's tough. What does John Wick 4? What did it need to do for you to go ahead and give it the stamp of approval?
I guess just do enough different from the previous 3, because I think that's one of the things that in your fourth entry, there's a worry of series fatigue, where it's like the first three films were fantastic, amazing fight scenes, amazing choreography, but it kind of goes back to what you said. How do they up the ante again? Do they just make the film longer so you have more fight scenes? Do you think of more extravagant ways for characters to fight each other so where it's not as similar as previous entries? To me, that was the most difficult thing going into the fourth film. Because it's series fatigue. Do I want to see more of this? And it didn't help that before going in, we saw the runtime for this movie, and it was the longest out of all of them. And I'm like, okay, is that just nonstop action for almost 3 hours straight? Or are they doing some like expansion to the lore and mythos? Because I think that's another thing that helps John Wick stand out from other series is it has the action, but it has a very intricate lore and mythos to it, to where every time a film comes out, you're learning something new to where it doesn't feel familiar like the last time. And just like with the fourth one, we learn about the whole thing with Marquise and this other faction in the Continental. I mean, it was nice to see that, but that was the scary part going into John Wick 4. Am I going to be exhausted by this point?
And I think you bring a good point up of not only fatigue, but how can we make things feel different? And what does stand out is the fact that they have this lore that they've been pretty tight-lipped about. Like, you only get a little bit each time. They're not going to lay it all out for you, which I think does make it more intriguing. Because as much as I love like the Mission Impossible series, there's a formula. The stunts continue to be upped and upped and upped. But there is a formula to somebody stole plutonium, utonium, some kind of and you got to get it back because they're going to make some kind of big weapon and take out the planet. That tends to be the case, is like the world is ending. And what's so fascinating about John Wick is it's really focused on one individual within a really tight-knit society that has all these inner workings that we're still learning about 4 films in. So I think that is what keeps it relatively fresh, is that we expect the big set pieces, which there's like 6 of them in this film that I'm sure we'll get to talking about. But it is the intricacies of like learning about this world, but not doing too much where you feel a little overwhelmed by it.
I like that you bring up the Mission Impossible comparison, because with Mission Impossible, the movie's kind of, for the most part, reset with each entry. Right, like I forget Tom Cruise's character, but Tom Cruise in every Mission Impossible movie, he saves the world, and by the end of it's kind of like happily ever after, and then the next movie, sets the stage again for this new weapon or this new organization that's trying to take over the world. With John Wick, I really like how they kind of go by the chapter logic, where it's kind of like a book, and every event that happens in John Wick, wherever you end up at the end of any movie, the next film starts as a result of the events that happened from the previous movie. And I really like that, because it's like you're reading a book. It's one continuous journey with no stops and no breaks. And I think that's one of the appealing factors for the film, and why maybe we are open to a John Wick 5 or 6 or 7, however long they decide to go. We'll see. But I think that's one of the appealing factors of it, the chapter formula.
Yeah, I think playing to his strengths is what keeps it going and trying to expand. Similar to everything y'all have already echoed, but action is going to come. Long action sequences are going to come, which can be tough, but they do a good job of keeping it fresh. They do a great job of. I like the book comparison, because you're very much still in this, story of John Wick in this society and dealing with that, instead of John Wick dealing with the society, and now John Wick's somewhere else outside of the society trying to solve something else going. So it even though it's very much, movie magic, it's still grounded in his world. And they know that. And they know that John Wick is a man of few words too. Hosts his wife. And so they keep him with few words. Only little by little does he speak, and everybody speaks around him, which is really funny to me. Everybody talks to him. He's just like, yeah, no, friends. So I think they play that, and it's a campiness to it that I think you appreciate as you go through the journey of watching the movies that you don't appreciate if you didn't start from the beginning. I will say that, but you can still appreciate the action and stuff that comes from it.
It is indeed a journey. Mind you, I really think, having watched these really all back to back, I think the story of John Wick takes place within less than 2 weeks span of time. I kid you not, which is wild, because it's been 9 years since the first entry of the movie.
Maybe a little over 2 weeks because he does a lot of
Maybe
traveling.
Longer.
He does a lot of traveling.
It's less than a year, I'll tell you that much.
This man is in the desert walking. That is
in a black suit.
I promise you, the third movie, I swear, starts with "They killed his dog a week ago." I promise you, which is crazy. It's crazy to say that, but I will look up a timeline later. But successfully, John Wick has broken the fourth curse so far. Talking financially wise, 73 mil domestically, 137 mil worldwide. It's on its way up. It's not even that deep of a budget. 100 mil. It's gonna keep growing, I'm sure. All right, we've been talking around it. Let's get into John Wick Chapter 4. Things to know before this movie begins. Remember, this all started with a dog. Technically. John Wick 2, John is excommunicado. So he is, up for grabs by assassins who are under the high table. And then the third one ends with kind of the conviction of it's going to be John versus the table. John has had enough being pulled by the invisible puppet strings, and he wants to be able to remember his wife in peace. So he's got to go up against the high table. And Lawrence Fishburne's the Bowery King is very much an enabler. Do you want to do something about it, John? Yeah. So here we are, John Wick 4. And I think right off rip, we kind of get the theme of secular nature within the universe of John Wick. John is prepping. He's going after the elder who sits above the high table. Something we're introduced to number 3. We see it again here. However, it is a different elder because the last one apparently had died. John kills this one, and this sets in motion the events here. But very much the elder was like, if you kill me, they're just gonna appoint another one, and it continues. And this is something, John doesn't very much care about. And he kills him. And from here on out, we have a trickle effect. Enter the Marquis de Garmont and the Harbinger. Your boy, Pennywise, the dancing clown.
You can float too, John.
I was waiting for him to do some eye trick where he looks like to the left. He could do that.
One eye to the
one eye. Yeah. I think he did that in his audition too, for Pennywise.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. There it is. Bill Skarsgård. He is not French. However, he is now appointed by the high table. He has all the resources of the high table to dispose of John Wick, because John Wick cannot be left running around anymore. Cannot be often the elder who sits above the high table. No. And if you are connected to John Wick in any way, you're probably on the chopping block as well. Have we had this is like, is this a villain? I don't know what you call him.
Yeah, I would say so.
I really enjoyed him though. Bill Skarsgård. I think he was really fun. But I feel like we never had like an antagonist in this series who was kind of challenging John one-on-one. A lot of people were kind of scrambled to get around having to face the Baba Yaga. This guy says, I'm gonna give it to him, man. I'm gonna We're gonna bring him down no matter the cost. Did you like Bill Skarsgård 3? I mean, he's still a punk at the end of the day as well. He was fun though. What'd y'all think of him?
I definitely liked him. Super intimidating. He stole the scene every time he appeared on screen.
Yeah, I like that he's leaning into the fact that like he can look very menacing and so is playing a lot of villains. I think something that's interesting is last time I saw him was in Barbarian. I don't want to spoil anything or give anything away, but they definitely play up on the fact that he's played Pennywise before, that he has like played these villains in that particular role in that movie. I believe it's on HBO. Y'all can go watch it. But I think I like that he's having fun with this though, that there was like charisma and it wasn't just about him being a straight up antagonist, but like there was like a funny element and he was a coward. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun with this role.
Yeah, charismatic is a great word. Charismatic, big, quote unquote, big bad. Because I don't think there's much, much depth to him as a character, but it doesn't have to be. He did a phenomenal job leaning into his performance and his role in the movie. So I was entertained.
Thoroughly entertained. And as y'all said, charismatic, threatening. He was fun. He reminded me of a spoiled rich boy. If Richie Rich was out here trying to commit assassinations, I don't know. But he was fun. Speaking of being a coward, he's not gonna just get his hands dirty. He's gonna bring in the best, and he's gonna do it manipulatively. He's gonna do it at any cost. Enter Kane, who is an antagonist. I wouldn't call him a villain, but the Marquis is tasked with killing John Wick. Who better to bring in to kill John Wick than a friend of John Wick? And of course, it's Donnie Yen.
I love it.
Love it. Why you love Donnie Yen being here?
I think I loved everything Donnie Yen's been in. I mean, I know him originally from Ip Man, the first 3 Ip Man, and they were really good films. I think he was in Rogue One, right? He was the blind.
He was in Rogue, another blind character. Yep.
Right. But yeah, usually whenever he's in a film, I know he's gonna kick someone's ass typically. So I usually look forward to that. So I like Donnie Yen. I like him.
I think Donnie Yen's name has this power to where John Wick is now an established action film franchise that it's like when you add an actor like Donnie Yen, right away the ante has been moved up. Very interesting though, Donnie Yen being here and being blind. And for more or less, John Wick is very creative when it comes to the action sequences. I was excited to see what they were going to do with it. We'll get into it later, but Donnie Yen's presence, you can feel it. It was a big aura, and it was exciting to hear because, I mean, Donnie Yen is like, he's legit. Like he's like won many competitions overseas, many kung fu films, all those styles in Hong Kong and whatnot. He's gonna take some names for sure. Definitely cool to have him here.
It made sense. I heard Donnie Yen and I said, makes sense. I want to see it.
It's about time.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel Jackie Chan's name doesn't carry much weight anymore. I
don't know if I would even take it seriously. Like if it was like I see Jackie Chan's name in there, I'm like, okay. I mean, he can fight, but like, you know what I mean? Like Donnie Yen's roles, I feel like carry more weight when it comes to like action choreography. Kind of like how what Jet Li's name did back then. Like whenever you saw Jet Li attached to a project, you knew it was going to be like a relatively serious, like action heavy role. Jackie Chan had a lot of comedy behind it, so maybe that's why I wouldn't feel the same way with Jackie Chan if he were to be brought in.
And I only bring up Jackie Chan because they come from China, and they both got their start up in those kung fu films.
Right? Yeah.
Give us Michelle, yo.
Ooh,
are we ready for that?
I think
Are
so.
we?
We're ready.
I'd
Sure.
support it.
I support it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I like actors who actually do their own stunts and who actually know what they're doing. So that is also an appeal of Donnie Yen. So very
Right.
cool. He's here. One last thing with this dude, as far as the beginning goes, he makes his point very clear that if you are connected to John Wick, you could potentially be on the chopping block. Man, talk about timing. So Winston does everything he can to get back his power by the end of the third film. Continental New York is going to be desecrated again. Enough is enough. I don't care how much you've been finagling. You are the reason why John Wick's still alive. You lose your power, but we'll take your boy Charon. Dang.
Damn. Yeah.
That hit.
Timing. Yeah, it did.
Rest in peace, for sure.
Yeah, R.I.P.
It almost felt like a tribute at that point. At least given the timing, it felt good. They actually care about this character, you know?
I think it was like kind of really also to set the stakes for, you know, what these characters are gonna be fighting for, because like Marquise could have just said, you know, some generic villain nonsense like, oh, you have X amount of time to take care of this John Wick problem, or I will take care of it for you. Rather than saying all that, he kills Sharon like right there, right on the spot. He's like, I'm making it very apparent what is going to happen if this nonsense with Mr. Wick keeps going on. But yeah, just the timing of that, and you know, it's only been like what, a week since Lance Reddick's passing. So yeah, man, I mean, wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate either way.
No, definitely. I'm glad that how this happened. And one, I think it was done very well. Because again, I do feel they recognize Charon as a character. He's been here since John Wick 1. Been taking care of the dog, been running things as concierge. And Winston puts it best later, you know, above all things, he was a friend. Friendship is a big theme in this film. We see a lot of kind of, you know, the idea of friendships and how it could be tainted, how it can shift, which is how we enter our next location. We go to Osaka. Again, they're cleaning up house. If you knew John Wick, you're on the chopping block. Enter Shimatsu Koji, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, another great actor who didn't really get a lot of kind of hype going into this movie. If you know him, he's phenomenal. I think he did his thing here, but this is our first big action set piece. We got the Osaka Continental. Rules still apply. He's a former friend of John Wick. Daughter Akira, played by Rina Sawayama. Not too big of a fan of John Wick. And then the Marquis Goons and Kane show up. And we could talk about this right after this line. He says, "We have guests. Go show them our hospitality." Boom, samurai sword, bow and arrow, ninja stars. Here we are. What is our thoughts about the Osaka action set piece? Oh, I'm sorry, one more character we were introduced. Rose the Crafter's background, Mr. Nobody.
Ooh, Mr. Oh yeah, that's right. It was at the Osaka Continental.
And what about the dog? You only
and the
introduced
dog.
one character.
Does he have a
Right.
name for the dog?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
I don't know
he's the dog's emotional support.
Right.
Because
The
he's
other
so
way.
cute.
I
Sure.
will say that technically the first set piece was like this Lawrence of Arabia
Oh
horse
yes, we
Oh, the
chasing.
horses.
Yeah.
we
Oh,
glanced
yeah.
over it.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's probably the least, like, there's not as much going on in that scene compared to literally everything else. But it wasn't beautifully shot, so I just wanted to mention it because it was a really.
He took a couple people out on that horse.
He did.
Yeah. Horse chasing. But yeah, Osaka.
I will say, we didn't even mention this. We saw the movie in 4DX.
We did.
And that
What was that?
Interesting.
Oh my God.
Was interesting. I mean, the rest of the film was interesting, but this really set the standard because your John Wick's chasing you in the seat, and the bullets are whizzing by these people, and you
air
feel
shoots by your ear. It literally shoots by your ear, just by your ear.
That's kind of too real. I don't know.
Not everyone can sit in that seat. I know that.
I watched in regular, was it 2D, whatever it is, with me and some older gentlemen who were having a boys' afternoon out, who had a blast, by the way.
Separate parties, or you're with them?
Separate parties.
Okay.
No, they're like my dad's age.
Okay.
But Osaka.
Listen, I recommend you try 40X for some of these action movies. It's an experience.
John Wick was an experience for sure. That
sure was.
That may have heightened my rating for it, and to be honest.
Well, you felt a lot. So in this Osaka scene, bow and arrows. I think that's new to John Wick franchise. I don't think we've seen that. I dig the choreo for that. I think the character Akira does a lot with the bow and arrow as far as marksmanship, and then also just kind of
the choreography too, man.
Yeah, whipping it with just the bow by itself.
But even the agility, I mean, she was running in circles around old buddy. Right.
Very, very cool. Very cool moment. I like it's hard to get around some of this armor. Definitely it's not easy anymore.
I will say, what I appreciated about this scene is that because it's so big, they were able to have like small subsection scenes. So you have it starts and it's all chaotic inside. It's also on the rooftop. We have that going on, and then it takes it back inside. And you have them going down with these escalator situations, and so it's up and down. There's a kitchen scene. So I like that there were kind of little pieces of this action that we got to see kind of throughout. And one of the ones that stand out to me. So we should mention that Rina is, so the actress that plays Akira is a singer.
Oh, she is.
So yeah.
Oh.
She's a singer. That's what she's actually really known for. So that's why it was kind of exciting to see how much work she put into my cat in a way. Maybe she's excited about John Wick 4, but she is a singer. And so I think it was really cool to see her kind of get all into the action set pieces. And I really liked, there was a scene that she was fighting a guy that was much, much bigger than her. And the blade usage, and they're going up these stairs.
I know which one you're talking about.
As they're going up the stairs, she is stabbing him on the back, and I was just okay, yeah, because it reminded me. It was film 3 of the sequence in the library with the really tall big guy.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, so it reminded me a lot of that, of just what you need to do to try to get the best of someone who just has more body weight, height, wingspan, whatever, than you. And I thought that was really, really clever, and it's just brutal.
Very.
So that certainly stands out to me. There's a ton of them. I think the kitchen sequence was really cool with Johnny Yun's character, to Grandmaster Hoop's point of how can we be creative, about the fact that he can't see, but also there's a reason why he was sent after John Wick. So he has to have something going on here, and I thought that was really clever too, using the
doorbell,
doorbell. There we go.
Sensors.
Yeah, motion sensor doorbells. This scene was giving me Jurassic Park kitchen scene with the raptors. No one's a Jurassic Park fan.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I like
It's
Jurassic
been a while.
Park. Yeah,
It's been a minute.
Okay.
1997.
3, but who's counting?
Can I say 2 things though?
Years.
Sure.
First, Donnie Yen, whose character was Kane. Who's his name?
Kane.
Let me get his
Kane,
name right.
Kane.
Well, first, I always enjoyed how different everybody's fight styles are in these action
Mhm.
sequences. All the characters have their own fighting style. Of course, they pull from different things, but it's literally unique. Like every sequence of a person fighting, that character's style is unique. Kane's fighting style is very serious, but you can also I like the fact that he doesn't really want to do this. He's kind of forced to do this, and you see it in how he fights as well. Sometimes he also, because he's blind a little bit, sometimes he bumps into stuff or he slides down and he's like, ah, and then he gets alert and goes back in and starts fighting again. So very tied to where they're at as a character in the movie too. Akira's fighting style, very agile, but also very aggressive too. She's upset. She's upset. She's upset her family's being affected.
You throwing
John
the
Wick is here.
emotions in here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just
It's
notice
not-
it in
yeah.
their fighting styles too. So I really enjoy that about this movie particularly. I think they do it a good job throughout all the movies, but we get a big cast of fighters in this movie that you can really see it happen.
No, absolutely. I think watching Kane, because Donnie Yen's not actually blind, people listening at home. Very much when he was whipping the sword, it looked like he was trying to extend his arm, as if, they always say the sword is an extension of your arm, but very much he's blind. So it's like he thinks someone's there. He has to really reach out and make that kill, or that could be it for his character. And I like that you could see that in his fighting style. So that was really fun to see in that kitchen sequence for starters.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I got that because we know Donnie Yen's not really blind, but it's cool to see that because it had a sense of like awkwardness to it, but because of that, it felt more realistic. Like I did not get the same vibes as like watching Charlie Cox fight as Daredevil, like I did with Donnie Yen fighting as Kane. I feel like there's two completely different styles. And I honestly, I may prefer Donnie Yen's style. It just feels more realistic to me in watching it. So,
no, I agree with that. I mean, Daredevil could technically see because of his powers.
right.
Donnie Yen's just a man. We get classic John Wick action with the gunplay. The gunplay has always been great in these films. Top-notch stuff. We get nunchucks. Nunchucks were cool.
Nunchucks
that was
are
cool.
new. Right?
Yeah, that was different. Keanu Reeves, man, I guess I don't know. Like he's like, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do in this film? How about nunchucks?
Do you know how to do nunchucks? No.
Well,
Okay.
let's take a master class. We shoot tomorrow. Well, you're going all day. Okay.
You think he acts like his character? He just gives one word of responses.
I don't know. I feel Keanu Reeves is an enigma. I don't know. 90% of his stunts he did his own.
Yeah,
I believe if he didn't know it, he learned it.
Yeah, he likes he's mentioned before, he likes the fight choreography. The stunts, he doesn't like stunt work. I believe that he talked about like a specific, I haven't watched all the interviews for this film. I know for the third one, he was like, I don't want to be falling off shit.
He's not in the stair scene.
Yeah, he's not doing Tom Cruise, like I'm gonna jump off this airplane.
God, the stairs.
But he will do the fight choreography, the gun fu, all of that is definitely up his alley. And
Gun fu.
Yeah,
Gun
fu.
Gun fu, yeah.
So thanks all that.
We get Donnie Yen versus Keanu right off rip. Their first little bout. That was fun. John, you dead yet?
No, I was saying they're all quiet.
Also, too, he's over here tiptoeing, not trying to step on glass, because he may be blind, but he's going to try to take advantage of the fact that his friend is blind. I mean, he's trying to kill him.
Right.
So, no, I think this was cool. Just kind of they like breaking glass in the John Wick films. I don't know. This was just a cool sequence. They're pretty evenly matched. That's what I took from this. And again, they're friends. There's a story here. I think this is the first time we really see John go up against anybody who he has a deep past. I think at number 2, he was friends with Common at some point. Common's not as cool as Donnie Yen. Sorry, Common. Uh, uh, that ends. I don't even remember how it ends, but it ends.
The end. Well, the father.
Yeah.
So the
Told
other
you.
friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Donnie Yen's character, so Kane kills him during their own little fight, which is cool to see.
Which I thought this was real cool
And
way to capitalize.
they have their own history too.
Yeah.
They
So
were all
three of them-
friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how this world works, and I like that about John Wick. You know they're friends. You don't know why they were friends. You don't know how. Maybe we'll get a John Wick prequel with a younger cast, and they're the three best friends that go around killing everybody. I don't know. But yes, Hiroyuki and his swordplay was good too. That was fun. But Kane's really good, apparently. Also,
Kane
he had
spared-
been shot.
Spared his daughter too.
Spared his daughter. Good parallel because Kane is doing this for his daughter. And then, interestingly enough, again, a lot of secular nature. This will come back up later. This kind of idea of friendship and brotherhood and cycle of hatred. What do we do now? John, he's like, if John turns to his I'm sorry, Mr. Nobody's here. Mr. Nobody.
Did you feel like Mr.
forgot about
Nobody
him.
was kind of like Jason Statham in Furious 7?
Oh god, yeah.
Oh,
In a good
no.
way. I like Mr. Nobody, but boom, Mr. Nobody, boom, Mr. Nobody. He just comes
Well,
out
Mr.
of nowhere.
Nobody, he's an interesting wild card. I think that's what he is in this
A
film.
wild card.
Yes. You see him protecting John. This man is like, that bounty ain't high enough.
And it's
He
like, how
wants-
much more does he need? Like, what's the purpose in getting a high bounty? Because what did it start off with? 12 million at first, right? At the start of this movie, John's bounty.
It was
Or was
closer,
it-
it was closer to 20.
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Mr. Nobody's number was about, once it hit about 25 million, I think he was like, all right, I'm in game.
Okay. I just remember it starting like really low, and it's like, man, you really wanted to be higher than that. For what purpose? I guess that's maybe they're leaving open ended for.
And we know nothing about him. Like
we
you said.
don't know
Nothing.
anything.
Even still now, we don't know too much.
We don't. We know he's got a dog who the dog also gets its fair share of action.
So many
That dog looks
shots.
familiar, right?
That dog does look familiar. I'm gonna hold off on the dog because I got
Yeah, that dog was in Bad Boys too.
right there. That dog, and that looks like Sam from I Am Legend, which I think Sam is still kicking right now.
Listen.
Either way, I digress. You can't just kill everybody, John Wick, says Winston. They just replaced them. You kill the Marquis, he's gonna be replaced. They're gonna send someone else after you. I'm gonna kill them all. No, you need your freedom. You need to be free from the high table. Winston, the man with the plan. You gotta enact the old ways. You gotta challenge the Marquis to a duel. John Wick cannot he can't challenge the Marquis because he's not part of a family. If we remember correctly, he punched his ticket, the term used with Angelica Houston, the leader of the Belarus family, and the ballerinas. I think that was the third movie that happened. Or no, might be the second movie.
Might be the second.
Yeah. I think it's the second movie. When you punch your ticket, and again, I wrote all these rules down, really trying to understand them. When you punch your ticket, that is it for you and your family. Kind of, you cut ties. They did one last favor. That's it. John needs back in if he's gonna challenge the Marquis. Again, I am a big fan of these rules as we've been talking about, kind of just rolling out piece by piece. It's a lot of show and not tell, and I'm cool with that. I think it works in its favor, and the following execution, I think, suffices for why they're not telling us everything. He goes to Tonks from Harry Potter franchise. Again, John killing the
Katya.
elder. Say again.
Her name is Katya in the
Kat-
movie.
Sorry, I could have sworn she said Tonks.
Terrible.
No,
And
no.
the family is the Roosteroma that he's going to in Berlin
There you go. There you go.
to try to regain, a status within a family in order to be sponsored to fight against the Marquis.
There it is. There it
So
is.
he's off to Berlin.
And why does he? And what's the deal? How does he get back in? He's got to kill a member of the German faction of the High Table, Killer, with the golden grill.
My God.
And do you know who this is? That's
Okay, I had to look it up, but go ahead. Who is this?
So Scott Adkins is a really well-known stunt performer. I would suggest looking him up. There is a particular fight sequence that I don't know what film it's in. I've genuinely only seen a clip, but it's this really, really incredible kick that he does that I can't even explain it. So just look up Scott Adkins kick. I don't know, but it's really cool. So he's just a really well-known British stunt performer, but in this case he is in a fat suit.
Okay, because we were over here thinking, damn,
Still kicking too.
he can
still
kick.
got moved.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, yes. So, and I will save kind of my criticisms for who they hire and who they don't in terms of the usage of certain prosthetics. But I will say, you can look up Commentary on the Whale if you're wanting to see more about that.
Oh gosh. I see where this is going.
Wow.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down that pathway because a lot more people have said more graceful and really thoughtful takes around that. What I will say is Scott Adkins is a really, really great action performer, so I thought it was cool that they included him because the fight sequences were pretty cool. Yeah.
Let me ask, do you know Scott Adkins' infamous role? That infamous as in really, really, really bad. He is Deadpool at the end of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he has no mouth.
Oh, that's not.
Oh, really?
That
that's
is not Ryan.
Reynolds?
That is not Ryan Reynolds.
Wow.
Wow.
That is. Yep, that is Scott Adkins.
Interesting.
How unfortunate.
A very, very, very
Claim to
unfortunate.
fame.
But it's cool. He's here. He's kicking in a fat suit. We thought it was a really big guy, really kicking. We were clapping it up for them kicks. Club scene, very reminiscent to the first film.
Yeah, with
Yep.
all the water and the rain, right? There's a lot of rain in the first one.
A lot
Yeah.
of dancing.
A lot of dancing.
Yeah.
That was a fun set piece, huh? People in the club dancing and they're running and fighting.
And killing, shooting.
I just assume all of them are high. They can't tell.
Oh yeah. Eventually they caught on, but
They're just dancing. It's okay. John Wick Falls 2 stories. I really like the card scene.
Did you?
Five-card draw.
Because you
Yeah.
screamed when it happened.
I screamed. I didn't scream.
The card scene. Oh, wait.
The
you
card
Yeah.
when they're playing.
Oh, okay.
He
Not
cuts
when
him
he
with the-
went and
Oh, well,
stabbed
yes,
him.
I screamed at that because I don't like paper cuts. And that was nasty. A big paper cut. Drew blood. That looked like it hurt.
I mean, he screamed.
Um,
Yeah.
No, I like the card scene because very much I think this film felt like John Wick was sharing the most screen time than he's ever had before. I feel there was 3 stories we were following: John, Kane, and Mr. Nobody. And I kind of like that. It's different. And again, it very much because they don't show, not tell. You have to find reasons to be invested in each of these other characters outside of John. And I think I was invested for the most part. I think Mr. varying degrees of investment, but enough investment to this scene. I was like, oh, this is cool. They all have something they want or something to lose or something to kill for. Very much the themes of the movie that carry over. Do y'all prefer a more centralized John Wick story, or do you like when this happens? I think moving forward, we're going to see more kind of characters get more screen time like this.
I think I like this more. I mean, I like the way the other John Wick films did it, but I think the reason why we get such a long runtime is because of characters like this, where we have like kind of shifting focuses, where one moment we're kind of focusing on Donnie Yen for a little bit, other times it's Mr. Nobody. But I really like that though, because then it's expanding the world. Like, I mean, even right now, we still don't know who Mr. Nobody is. And I feel like as the executives that start to listen to feedback for this movie get a feel for how people feel about Mr. Nobody, we may even get greenlit for like a spinoff movie and maybe a series potentially. So yeah, I actually would prefer if they keep doing, going this route. If they make a John Wick 5 or a 6, we just keep having like, follow the stories of like multiple characters rather than just the one set. So that would be kind of nice.
Adds a layer of tension
to
it. So I enjoyed that layer of tension. I don't know if I can say whether I enjoyed it better than just focusing on John, but I still was entertained. There was a level of tension of, okay, what's going to go on? And now they're all at the table, and it's like, wow, they're all at the table. Like, what's going to happen now? Because everybody it's like they want to kill John, but it has to be like on their specific terms. And at the same time, even though we don't know Mr. Nobody, like, Donnie doesn't really want to kill John, but he's got to. Mr. Nobody, we don't know what Mr. Nobody's doing here. He's trying to raise the ransom each time. So I don't know. Everybody wants to do it their own way. John's trying to do his own thing, and they're all at the table. And we at the audience is seeing all of these people at the table, and we're like, how are they going to handle this? Because you would think, all right, whoever just popped John first. But everybody has their specific plan for John.
Very.
Just a varying degree of success here, whether or not you invest in them. But yeah, the world is expanding. The world of John Wick is forever expanding with new characters that arrive. John kills Killa. He is able to challenge the Marquis to a duel. Very nice shot here in Paris. I hope that was a real background during that moment. With the I think it was the sunrise, and they're flipping those cards over. Pretty tense moment. Yeah. There's some nice shots in this movie. I think artistically,
some wonderful shots.
Right. I think this could it be the most artistic of the John Wick films. A lot of sun shots, as Dr. Rico mentioned in the beginning. Lawrence of Arabia shot with the sun. Here in Paris with this sunrise. We'll get another sunrise later. Could there
very symbolic?
Japan. The sun never sets on the Empire of Japan.
The land of the rising sun.
There you go. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Maybe there's
another layer.
We'll do our research and report back later. The Harbinger, we haven't talked about him. Clancy Brown. Y'all like Clancy Brown? Mr. Krabs, that's Mr. Krabs.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did expect him to break out in laughter at some point.
John Wick, me money.
Almost. I mean, he was cool. I liked him. He wasn't in the previous movies, right? He wasn't.
No, he was not.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, his presence was felt. I felt like he was like this all-knowing, wise figure in the whole continental mythos, and it's like he knew all the rules and all the little secrets that their society has, but you're not going to get all of them in this movie because he's not even the one that tells you about the whole dueling thing. It's Winston's the one that brings it up to John, and then they bring it up to Marquise, and Marquise is like, oh, those are just the ancient ways, no one follows anymore. And it's the Harbinger. He's the one that's saying, no, those were real. We still follow them. And then there we go. We go from there. I liked him. He was really cool.
I want to say real quick with Winston, I love that shot, which they do a couple times, where it's like these big shots and we're waiting forever for the character to get to the next character. So it's Winston walking and it's all these different sizes of art painting.
Oh,
you just hear his step. He walked probably for like a minute or two on screen until he got to whatchamacallit, inserting the papers about the duel. And for some reason, I love that.
It was really good.
Really nice shot. And also, now that you mentioned Winston, Ian McShane, I think he does such a phenomenal job in these films for, just the voice of reason, the finagler, the man with an angle.
I nearly forgot. He almost killed John in the last movie.
he tried to.
He's that charming. Like he has that voice of like you said, reason, where it's like, okay, I understand why you sent him flying out the window. Like I get it. Let's be friends again. Because I remember seeing him as like a voice of comfort in the past like 3 movies.
Winston, Jonathan.
Yes. I liked it, and then he killed him, or tried to kill him, and at the end I'm like, oh man, now is John gonna seek revenge? I don't want him to kill Winston.
I didn't want him to kill Winston either.
Right.
And I think also too, Lawrence Fishburne is such a fun presence in these films as well as the Bowery King.
How the heck did he get over? See.
Someone,
I'm thinking about expanding.
It's just a nice.
It's fun though.
Yeah, I think it's nice that he gets to be almost like the humorous part and offer a little something different, because everything is pretty serious about what's going on throughout the series. So it's nice that we got introduced to him, and then that he's continued to be a part of the series in that way.
Somebody please hit this man a gun.
Oh, Mr. Krabs is missing his finger too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, we didn't mention the stabbing of Mr. Nobody's hand.
Oh my gosh.
Very unsettling. Caught me off guard for sure. I'm like, yeah, what is this rated? I thought it was PG-13. No, R, just full R.
Not a chance.
Yeah, never.
Never.
Always been R.
That scene reminded me. It just reminded me of how grotesque.
That was painful to watch.
Yeah. What were the stipulations? It's like, show me if you're a man of conviction by what was it? A man of conviction.
A weak man will pull the knife up. But a man with conviction, I guess, will pull their hand out.
I don't know why he did that.
Fuck that. I'm pulling that knife.
How did he use that? He punched with that hand later in the movie. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way you're using that hand still. Ever.
I was like, never in my life. I'm like, 20 million. That's great. Sure. 20 million. You got it, boss. What am I doing negotiating with this crazy man? Either way, the duel. Were you about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say the duel was settled.
Right.
I'm anxious to get to I think is the best part.
Oh, easily.
The duel will be at Sacré-Cœur, at church. I think it's a church. Yeah, it's a church. Sunrise. The next morning it will be dueling pistols. The Marquis backs out last minute. That punk Kane will fight in his stead, or Kane's daughter will be eliminated. The Marquis is going to play one last dirty trick. John Wick's contract now is up to like
20 something.
It's like doubling,
significantly higher, to where all the bedridden assassins of Paris are now up out of bed and they're coming. And this I thought was really good too. I feel like in the American side, when we see it, it's always like these operators just be like, John Wick contract, 17 million. Hey, all you lovely folks, we have a wicked man in our city.
Yeah, really cool.
Paint the
His
town
contract.
red.
The man in black is still kicking. Let's try this number on. I like that. Here we are. Let's just call this the Paris nighttime sequence.
It had the best parts.
Do we start at the Ark? Does it start at the Ark?
Well, I guess to add additional context, the reason why all these assassins are being sent is John Wick has to make it to the church by sunrise.
There you go.
Which is at like what, 6 something in the morning?
6:03 precisely.
Wow.
So the intent is if he sends all these assassins and John is killed before he gets there, then he doesn't have to, deal with the duel situation. And so that's why we have basically these 3 separate set pieces. So there's the Ark, then the house, and then the stairs.
Right.
Let's do this.
And the fear also is, because even though he put up Donnie Yen as his replacement, he would still die if Donnie Yen loses. So Marquis got a lot at stake right here. So yes, send all the assassins up John Wick's bounty right now.
Right. And they knew too, like Winston and the Bowery King knew this was gonna happen.
Right.
John got a suit, another new suit. The Ark. I love the Ark.
I love the Ark.
The Ark was really good.
The Ark was really good.
You throw in car play into anything, it gets 10 times better.
But it's like, so I think, I mean, I've never been to the Ark. I don't know if any of y'all have. The Ark is a giant roundabout where I think historically there's not a lot of accidents there. It's crazy how they don't have all these accidents, and so they're like, let's cause some accidents, and it was just cool. It was fun, kicking people in the cars.
Yeah, that was wild.
The bullet play where their cars are passing. God forbid, I hope nobody got hit. A regular car driver. It was great.
It was. I think it was really what I really appreciate about the John Wick movies is things are really creative.
Yes.
And so I had no idea. Like the house, we'll talk about kind of how it was filmed. I think that was really creative. But we've seen fights in houses to varying degrees before. I think we've seen car accidents and like the usage of cars as weapons, but there's something that just about the roundabout, and then so cars are going to continue to keep coming. It's not like it stops. We're not on a highway, so it's like you said, the cyclical feels like something that is a theme throughout.
Ooh, I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
It's gonna keep coming. And so how can we creatively use like different vehicles and then the gunplay and the hand-to-hand, and it was just really, really fun.
A lot of fun. Actually, I forgot. He even started in a car too. But I think I like, if you're gonna go international and go to these, a city like Paris, please use the architecture. They went to Berlin, but Berlin was all done in a club. We've seen John Wick in the club. I like using these historical sites as just the background to these fights.
I also like how they went with the locale that people don't typically use as the set piece for their, like, if they're in Paris, they always go to
the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower, and it's like you see it every movie. They're like climbing the tower because there's a bomb at the top or whatever. But I like this. I don't see the Ark a lot in these locales for these type of movies, so it was nice seeing that because it's creative. These cars zipping around, you gotta dodge them. Like he starts off driving in them, then he gets out of the car, and now it's like all about dodging cars that are zipping by, and it was cool. Like I know, like weren't some of those CG cars?
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell, and I like that I couldn't tell what it was, because I felt like these people were actually getting hit by these cars. It was good. I like it.
Do you still buy the dog? Didn't the dog get hit by a car at one point?
That's where it kind of pulled me out a little, because that's the scene where the dog gets like obliterated on the windshield. Right? Is that the scene that you're talking about?
Dog gets hit on the windshield, and then after that, the dog it's jumping from car to car.
No, before
which was
that.
also cool.
Oh, before that.
Yeah.
Before that.
The car jumping was cool. The car jumping of the dog was cool. When he got hit, I mean, the entire theater thought the dog just died. Literally.
Never wanted to see that dog die.
No.
Did not. No, but surprisingly, it survived. I don't know how.
I don't know. We watched Wichita's henchmen fall down stories of steps on his face and still live.
The Marquis right-hand man.
Marquis right-hand man. He took some brutal, what should have been deaths, and
yes,
he would not die. He got stabbed through his arm.
Kept living.
Oh yeah.
Just kept living. Yeah, arc great. I just this whole ending Paris bit was really fun. Talk about non-stop. So we do come upon the house. And again, artistically speaking, cinematography talking.
Oh man,
how much fun was this house?
Phenomenal.
It was fantastic.
It's so good.
That isometric bird's eye view of John just going through the buildings, and you see like little mixtures of like Mr. Nobody on one side and John's on the other. It was really good. It was
so well. Yeah. It's just art, man. I don't think I've ever seen anything executed in that view that good with fighting and choreography.
It felt like a video game.
It felt like a video game
in those moments. Like there are games that are exactly like that, like Hotline Miami. There's like you
don't want to know what video game I was thinking.
Arkham.
Let us know.
What? Tell me.
I was like, this is what happens if you get Pac-Man, like a shotgun.
God.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Terrible. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it did remind me a bit of a video game, and I think to raise the stakes at this point, Mr. Nobody now he gets 40 million if he manages to get John Wick. You get to see footage of this like shotgun that has these bullets that like once they hit somebody, it sets them on fire.
Oh my goodness!
Oh man,
that new gun. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that new gun. I think something. I was having a conversation with my dad to tell him to go and watch John Wick 4, but then I went on this entire rant about just like direction and how action sequences, particularly in the West, because I don't think we see it as much in Eastern movies, because they've already mastered it and they have been for many decades, and we just are now catching up. There's this tendency to have like shaky cam and lots of cuts and really poor editing and CGI when it comes to action here in the West. It's something that I think I really appreciate about John Wick was that like we'll keep the camera there, or we're getting creative. The lighting is good, so you actually see the people that are fighting amongst each other, like the stunt folks that work really hard and are throwing their bodies on the line to make really wonderful, like fantastic set pieces, and you get to see it all happen, and it doesn't feel like you're getting like overwhelmed by all these various cuts. You see John Wick and Mr. Nobody and whatever the henchman's name is like going at it, and it's so cool. It's just really like this is what movies are all about. You want to see the shit happen. Like cinema is a visual medium. And I don't want it to be dark where I can't see it. And I don't want things to be cut so poorly that you don't know who's punching who just because you're hiding the fact that you didn't have your actors, train or didn't give them enough time to train. Like, these people spent months and months putting together like these set pieces, and it looks fucking good. That is my rant.
Excellent. Yeah. Very well said. Yeah, you said it right there. Because I remember when we were talking about Black Widow, I feel that's when you mentioned this idea too of how we like to see what the action is. When you add all the cuts and edits, it takes away from the fluidity of the shot, and it's not as fun. John Wick films have seemed to be a masterclass of maybe learning from the East and really trying to perfect it. I think they perfected it with this film.
And it helps that the director was a stuntman and a stunt coordinator.
Right.
He knows kind of like what this needs to look like to make it look good.
Yes.
Do you want to know a fun fact about the director in this movie?
Go ahead.
You want to know how far back his history goes?
Come on, give us, what is it? Go ahead. What is the name?
He was, well, I mean, his name is Chad. Ooh, Giga Chad.
I knew you were going there.
Chad Stahelski,
yeah.
He was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the original Matrix.
Wow.
Back in '99. Yeah. And then he was the martial arts stunt coordinator in the sequels of the Matrix, Reloaded and Revolution. So
that is pretty awesome.
That I thought that was really cool. This was magic waiting to happen. It was 20 plus years in the making. This guy and Keanu Reeves just coming back for this. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, looking at his credits, he's got some nice credits to his name.
Yeah, he's a heavy stunt guy. He's heavy in the stunt, and it's crazy because it's like, wow, look at someone that's in the industry of stunt work, and you give him the chance to direct a movie that's just focused on action, and he clearly knows what he's doing. You get a movie like John Wick. I think that's crazy. That's I mean, the guy knows stunt work. He knows choreography. So he knows how to like just band all that together into like a very cohesive story like John Wick. And he's done it 4 times.
Hasn't missed
at all.
So we get one little bout with Mr. Nobody and John. The dog is about to be killed. John saves the dog because he knows what it's like. In the cycle right now, no more dog killing, please. Mr. Nobody has a little bit of a change of heart.
He saved my dog.
He's not British.
Correct. I guess not.
No, he's not. Okay. Arguably, I think it's a toss-up as far as which action set piece has been the best one. This one might be the best one. Maybe. I don't know how y'all feel. The stairs.
They're great.
The stairs were really good. Because he's
The
right
best
there.
part of the
Like,
stairs is falling down the stairs.
Oh,
I think it's the stakes too with the stairs, because it's not really just like, oh, beat all the bad guys around this set piece. He's trying to get to the damn location for the duel, and you check the time and what it's like 5:50 or
he had like 10 minutes to get up the stairs, and that sequence I think went for the actual time. I think it was
run time.
Yeah, I think it was real time. And yeah, it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. You like the falling?
I'm gonna say I liked it, but I'm just saying in the theater. Come on, in the theater, we were all like, "What?"
I caught everyone by surprise. He's starting back at zero. The length of time it took for him to get to the top of the stairs, and someone's knocking him down back to square one. Oh,
how much anxiety that gives you.
He fell twice.
Yeah.
Right.
The second time he was gone. Always to the beginning.
He was out.
I remember you went over to me. You're like, "Is that Keanu Reeves falling?"
I did. I wanted to know if he did that bit, because I was like, I think that's real. I'm pretty sure even if that's not Keanu Reeves falling,
I think it is someone falling.
That is an impressive fall.
Because have you all seen? There was a clip on social media, and it was of the at Osaka where the stunt guy is falling down the escalator.
Oh, I did.
I think I saw that circulating.
It may have been on Twitter, but he did that shit for real. And they called cut, and they checked him like, "Hey man, you okay?" And he does get up, he's fine, but I imagine sore. But he did it for real. Like, they're falling down these steps. I imagine there's like some kind of method or something to
it's
appropriately do it. Yeah.
Turn your back at the right.
They're not just winging it and just ragdolling
like, your organs
good
like
luck
a
as I fall down.
Sure.
But I think to Grandmaster Soup, yeah. to your point earlier about using the like real set pieces or what could actually be found in a setting, the steps is one of those, because I believe, I've never been to Paris, but based on a podcast I listened to, you actually do have to go up a number of steps to get to that particular church. So using that was like a really smart kind of way to include more of like the actual setting. So I thought that was really cool too.
I mean, I am gonna go to Paris. I'm not gonna reenact falling, but I'm gonna do something with those steps. Don't know what. Should be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
You could
If y'all
slide
would like
down
to go,
the ramp, kind of like how Donnie Yen does in this scene.
sure. Well, Donnie, he slid, huh? Right?
At one point,
Right?
yeah.
At one point, okay. Donnie Yen shows up. Kane shows up. Again, cool. Kind of. They are friends at the end of the day. He's like, "What time is it, John?" About 2 minutes till. Come on, we gotta get up that hill, buddy. This was a really, 3 instances climbing the stairs, each one kind of significantly different. The final one being they're both now climbing the stairs, working together. I think that was a lot of fun. Watch you're 6, you're 9. Yeah, a lot of fun. And then they get to the top, and what? Is it Mr. Nobody who saves the day?
Yeah. Well,
Kills
it's that guy. I keep forgetting his name. The right hand man of the Monkeys.
Cheaty is his name.
Cheaty.
The character's name is Cheaty, played by Marcos Aurora,
Right.
Chilean martial artist.
Dog gets its revenge.
The dog gets his revenge.
Dog gets his revenge.
Nuts.
He went for the nuts a lot.
He specifically said nuts.
This time
Oh.
he said it, but the other times the dog like instinctively went for the nuts.
Yeah, the dog learned that somewhere.
He learned that somewhere.
Okay, I'm gonna say it right now since this is the last bit with the dog.
Get it off your chest.
I think they did the dogs better in number 3.
You think there's any ties to Halle Berry's character?
No.
Mr. Nobody? No ties?
Halle Berry's character said she had a daughter. Clearly, I don't think he's her daughter. But I don't know. For me, it was a thing that kept coming back into my head every time I saw the dog. I very much liked the coordination that they did with the 2 dogs in the 3rd film, and I felt this one felt like a step down with the dog. That's my rant.
No, they definitely had. It's definitely a tougher task for a 2-dog choreography, and what they did in 3, which was phenomenal as well, than having 1-dog choreography. So they did scale it back in that terms. But I think it was still entertaining. I wasn't thinking too much about 3 and their inclusion of dogs there, because their stories are different. And I feel like Mr. Nobody having a dog plays parallels to, well, we know this, plays parallels to John and how he began.
Correct.
His connection to the dog. And it played a beat. It wasn't heavy over the top like we see every other piece goes, but
right.
It's still good. I mean, the dog's jumping over cars. So
it's still good.
Yeah.
But you're right. 3's choreography with 2 dogs is what, like, I still think about that scene. I've said that to you before we watched the movie. I'm like, gosh, I was just thinking about the dogs being utilized in the 3rd movie. So
Just had to throw it out there.
hey, get it off your chest.
That's okay. We forgive you.
Yeah, I don't need forgiveness.
You have it.
I need vengeance.
Yeah.
Here we go. Vengeance is right around the corner. The duel. We make it. Anybody else get Hamilton vibes? The 10 Bill Commandments.
Oh my gosh.
You knew it. Come on. I could not have been
The
the
splint-lock
Rika.
pistols. Come on.
Hamilton's not the only one to do it.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I know Hamilton's not the only one to do it, but like in recent years,
Would you
And
prefer
for
them to sing
one-
it? Would you prefer them to sing their faces?
God, we need to hop on this. Make a TikTok with that sequence in John Wick and play the thing. Number one.
You just
The
put it
thing
out
is-
there. You got to do it.
He would
Be the
need to know
first.
the lyrics in order to
That's
do it. And he's
correct. How'd you know?
Traditionally, you're not great at the lyrics.
Who told you that? Catwoman V?
No, I was literally with you in Nashville as you were not knowing the lyrics.
Oh, this is personal experience.
An attack.
So Catwoman did not need to notify me.
Justified.
He says the same thing with myself and lyrics, but it seems it's a collective idea. That's fine. Either way, gripping moment, tense moment between two friends.
Cool.
Did y'all buy into this scene, the final duel?
Yeah, it was really good. Funny
Yeah.
enough, I thought it was gearing up to be another action-heavy sequence after everything that we got leading up to that, like after the arc, after the house, after the stairs. I thought it was gonna be some crazy like dual pistol wielding, choreographed fight sequence. No, it was none of that. It was just like straight up, like, you know, very old-fashioned dueling. What was it, like 30, 40 paces away from each other?
Yeah, and then they get closer.
They get
every
closer, right?
time, yeah.
'Cause those pistols are not accurate. They're not accurate at all.
No.
So yeah, I liked that this sequence was a lot calmer compared to what we got previously, because you could just focus on the moment, kind of like these friends that clearly do not want to kill each other. So you could mix a lot of this, like, because, you know, John could just easily shoot Kane in the head. Like once he's at like 10 paces or whatever, I'm like, John, come on. You're not, this is ridiculous now. But
I'm sorry.
get it,
I forgot
get it.
Kane was blind in this whole thing.
Kane's made sense. He was trying his best, but John didn't want to hurt his friend. And, you know, he keeps going for like those like, you know, side body shots and stuff like that. So it was cool. I actually like this sequence, this duel of the fates.
Oh, Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
I like how you said this was calmer in comparison to the rest of the film. Yeah, very much. This I guess this scene had a lot of emotion to it. Man, oh man, was anybody faked out by the end of it?
What?
So, you know, John misses his last shot.
I knew he didn't fire it. That the final one where he's on
Yes.
the ground.
Yeah.
I knew he
Correct.
didn't fire it.
Did anybody else?
I mean, I knew he didn't fire that, but I was so hooked in and I didn't even like think
That-
about
Yes.
what
Yeah.
he could have done with that until
Right.
he did. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
Right.
he did not fire. I get that.
I'm with Rose on that one. Like it didn't click for me. Like he's gonna do this when the Marquise gets close. No, I just thought, oh, he didn't fire the shot, and but that's how sucked into the moment I was. I knew what was at stake, I guess, in that moment. And then when the Marquise does his thing where he's like, no, I will get the coup de grace. Hand me your pistol. Mr. Kane, and he does his thing, right? He gets on the floor. He's about to shoot John, and what happens? What does Winston say?
You arrogant asshole. He's like, he never fired his last shot.
Nani?
Oh.
And then he gets shot. And they're like, oh wow, he still had the bullet in there. And then bam, it's a headshot, right? It's a headshot.
Is that shot?
Yeah,
John-
it's a finisher. Yeah.
John was missing on purpose with
I
Mr.
will
Kane.
say, the gentlemen who were in the theater on their gentleman day out, whatever it was, they yelled when that happened. And he pulled out headshot. They were like, ah!
Oh, I kind of wanted them in our theater.
That's funny.
It was really good. It was really, really funny.
Oh my god,
So they were having a blast. They had a really good time.
that's funny.
That is hilarious. I think. I mean, I don't. I think I might have wooted during that because again, I didn't see it coming. I did not. I felt like an idiot too. I'm with the Marquis. I probably would have got shot too.
Are you the Marquis?
I'm not the Marquis, but in that moment, I would have been like, "Oh, damn it, he didn't shot. Boom, dead." Very much. John wins his freedom. Now you have to keep in mind, all of this was so John could be free to think about his wife. That was the only reason why John wanted to continue living, and so he could keep the memories of his wife. But what is keeping the memory of your wife for 3 extra minutes? What did y'all think of the conclusion of John Wick? Is this the conclusion of John Wick?
No.
Beloved husband.
Loving husband.
Loving
Loving
husband.
That was nice on the tombstone. That was nice.
Is this the end?
They referenced that too.
Right.
They say, what do you want to be known as? Loving husband.
Damn, was that foreshadow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. He asked it. He told him.
Okay.
On my tombstone. Loving
And
husband.
his last line being "Take me home."
Can you take me home?
So,
That was beautiful. I mean,
nobody.
I really feel like this could be if they wanted to, if they really wanted to, our artistic integrity, this was the moment to do it. But this is Hollywood. Money talks. This movie made a lot of money. And again, they hype it up as, yes, this is the end, but at the same time you get like little things at the very end where I think it's someone's asking Winston, do you think he's in heaven with his wife, or is he in hell? And Winston says something along the lines of like, who knows? And I don't know, it's the way he responded. It felt like, what do you know, Winston? What does that mean? Like, does that mean like he's not in either of those because he's still alive? What could that mean? I feel like it's loose a little bit.
I do think, yeah. It's actually really smart.
It is, yeah.
What they did was, if Keanu, who I think is like 58, 59. So if he's like, the body is not willing.
But he's a vampire though, so
he's a vampire.
58.
Apparently he's a vampire, so we're good.
If the decision is, not wanting to return for whatever reason, then it's a close story. We assume that he's dead, or wherever we want to assume. We see the tombstone, but it could be concluded. If they happen to want to make a number 5 that is focused on another story with John Wick, I think because, to Rose's point, we didn't see a body.
Oh, body.
There is no guarantee that is actually what happened. So I think it's really smart to offer this as like a way to close the loop, or to leave the door cracked a little bit if we're wanting to.
Just ever so slightly. Well, just a wee bit.
Just enough, right? Just enough. I'm okay. I mean, I have read that Chad and Keanu are indeed gonna take a break.
Deserved.
However long.
He's tired.
Very deserved.
Yeah.
However long that break is, I don't know. But I find this is thematically speaking a fitting end for John Wick. It's poetic. You thought his freedom would grant him a lifetime of peace, of just kind of, to the end of his days, but he died. And I found that but he was happy in that moment, watching the sunset, thinking of his wife. I'm okay with that for his end, if it is truly his end. I liked it. I think it was a beautiful wrap up, because again, secular, the theme of secular nature. This would be the end of, I guess, Baba Yaga ever having to fuck shit up, more or less.
Is this the end of the universe?
It is not the end of the universe. Let's talk about this post-credit scene, which I bet I saw this coming for sure.
Right.
Did y'all see this coming?
Yeah, it was never
Yeah.
addressed in the movie, so it's like, okay, they have to touch on this. They have to.
Well, there's a couple of things that are still loose in the John Wick franchise. For example, Common is alive. His character is alive. It was said if he pulled the knife out, his aorta would bleed out. I'm assuming he's still alive. Don't know if that'll ever come back into play, but this one was more on the nose.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
though.
Maybe.
I feel like this one was more in your face.
Yeah,
Like, it's
well, definitely, because it
more
involved
apparent.
more characters. Yeah. And again, it was like the screen time was given to this story. Kane is ready to go see his daughter again, in Paris, and
He
walking
has
up
flowers too. Like he's ready to
Yeah.
meet her, and I think that's important because he was never previously allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because he had the Marquise when he met Kane for the first time, saying like, "You were close, you were very close," like as if watch yourself, because that you're like not allowed to be in contact with her for whatever reason, whatever the stipulation was when he left the Continental. So I like that. I like that there was some history behind there. But now he's won his freedom, just like John. He's like, all right, I got some flowers. Gonna see my daughter. I probably hasn't seen her like physically in like years, decade maybe. This is exciting for Kane. This is exciting.
but excitement comes at a price. On his walk up to his daughter, here we see Akira alive and well. Did she she pulls out a box cutter or a knife?
It
I
was
don't
like
know.
a box cutter type of thing, yeah.
Things might not go well.
Revenge.
Are we gonna get a Kane Akira film?
Would. Interesting characters. I feel like if they were gonna show Kane die, they would have,
Sure.
but they didn't. Again, leaving that door ever so slightly open for potential expansion of like the character or bringing them back for a spin-off. I mean, outside of that end credit scene, I mean, we have other things coming up for the John Wick franchise that are confirmed, like in production. I think we have one coming out later this year.
No,
Two.
next year.
Which one?
Ballerina comes out next year.
Oh, I meant the Continental one.
Does the Continental come out this year?
Supposedly it's this year,
Oh,
late
really? Wow.
2023.
I think it's
Yeah,
late this year on Peacock.
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
prequel with Winston, so that'll be fun. That'll
Ian
be interesting.
McShane or a younger Winston?
Did not specify. Could be Ian McShane. I mean, I would hope so because he's great to have on screen. But it could be a much younger Winston, but we don't know. But it is a prequel, and it is this. And I'm surprised because we learned about it this year, and it's coming this year. But the ballerina, we've known about it for like since what? John Wick 3 or 2? We've known about it for a good minute, and it's coming up likely next year in 2024, I think.
No, it's coming.
Yeah.
And Keanu will be making an appearance in the ballerina.
Okay.
That has been confirmed because I think it happens sometime in before 4.
Yes. Makes sense.
Well, yeah, Keanu and Lance too. Actually, shot for the ballerina, so he will have another posthumous role as Sharon. Angelica Houston coming back as well as the director, and then the great Ana de Armas is the ballerina.
So to answer your question, it will be a young Winston.
Okay.
Right.
An actor named Colin Woodell.
Ooh, don't know him,
Interesting.
but that sounds cool still. Like I can get behind that.
Yeah, the cast. Mel Gibson is attached. Let's see, Peter.
Wait a
Green.
minute.
Yeah,
Wait a sec.
Katie
Something's
McGrath.
not right here.
And Katie McGrath, she's pretty well known. She was part of Supergirl, Merlin.
Oh,
Oh wow,
For sure.
Ballerina's a film. I thought it was gonna be a series for some reason.
No, Ballerinas. Yeah, it's a film.
Wow. Okay, I'm excited. Oh, it takes place between John Wick 3 and 4. Ooh. I thought it was gonna be like a full-on prequel, like before the events. But
I
that'd be
blame
cool.
Mel Gibson on Grandmaster Who
What?
because
Why?
you
Yes.
revived his career because you love Daddy Holmes.
I've
so
never
much
seen
Yep.
any
Will
of the
Ferrell.
Daddy's Homes movies.
You're a liar, Will
I-
Ferrell, Mark
no,
Will
Ferrell
Wahlberg,
fell
and
off
Mel
from me.
Gibson.
No, this is your fault. You've watched Daddy's Home.
I didn't
I-
finish it. I didn't
I-
finish it.
Okay, see, you're the problem here.
You saw the
Dr.
Patriot.
Jace like to blame me for things.
Like
This
what?
is not- what else? You blame me for something recently. I can't remember.
Fast 10.
Fast 10. There it is. That one I can take partial responsibility. That's fine.
Wow.
So dang, the John Wick universe is growing.
It is.
2 confirmed projects within the next 2 years. We'll be waiting on a John Wick 5. Let's finish up this with where's John Wick 4 rank?
I think it's the best. But that comes with an asterisk because I've seen the previous John Wicks once with my dad, and I don't remember most of them, but I remember loving them. I remember loving each and every one. But this one I feel like is gonna stick with me for a while. John Wick 4. I don't know, maybe it's the length of the movie too. The fact that it's the 4th entry and it's still coming out fresh and trying new things and having those new things work and not fumbling the bag with them. And this being, if this is the conclusion for John Wick, the character, this was a pretty touching conclusion. I feel like you can't really end it any other way. For me, outside of not remembering too much from the previous films, I think this one's the best. I probably have to go back, rewatch the old ones, and maybe come back and assess again. But right now, yeah, John Wick 4 is my favorite right now.
4, 2, 1, 3.
3 is your last.
Interesting.
Wow.
And mind you, I have given all but this one. The other 3 I've given 4 stars. This one, I guess, I'll go ahead and say I gave this 4.5 stars.
Okay.
So I like all of them.
Okay.
I'm like, what is my favorite? It's similar to I don't think we actually gave our rankings for the Creed. I can't recall if we did or not. But I like all 3 Creeds. It's just which one do I like the most? So yeah, it's 4, 2, 1, 3.
Okay.
Interesting.
All lovingly said.
All lovingly. They're all great films.
I'm not mad at it at all because they're all great films. I don't even know where to rank them all right now because they build on. It's tough because it builds on obviously budget and set pieces and stuff. So you get a more grandiose by the time you hit 4. I like 3. I like 3's choreography with the double dogs, like I think about all the time. Even though it is a little bit longer, not than the 4th one, but I really like 3. I don't know. I have to watch 4 again. I might like 3 just a hint more than 4. Because 3 is the perfect blend for me of campy funniness because some of those characters are really funny. John Wick, I'm a fan. I'd love to die. That's 3, right? When he fights the guy who chops up the puffer fish and he's like, I would love to die by your hand. That's so random. In the dog scene I like, but 4 was phenomenal. So unfortunately I'm copping out and I can't give you a full ranking.
No.
I can't.
You're being honest.
You were supposed to do your homework.
But next time on a random podcast, I will come back with John Wick ratings.
You wait for the Continental. Don't hop on no random one. You wait till we talk about the Continental.
Fair enough.
Go
You were talking
ahead.
about Shrek earlier, though.
No, Dr. Jace was, not me.
Go ahead. Give your hot take on how you would rank the John Wick films.
let me just first of all say I think
not a good sign.
I think each of them
Hypocrite.
no
So,
no stop. I just want to say
This is how I rank the Creed movies.
6, 7, 8, 9.
I think each of them does something great in their own right
Oh God,
that
here
sets
we
them
go.
apart from each other.
Just like Creed, right?
For example,
Yeah.
no, what I
Oh.
mean is like I think 4 has the best finale, but I think overall, I think I'm with Rose. I think 3 is my favorite. I think 3 offers up the most variety as far as types of action we get to see. I'm really, I really do like the dog scene. However, I'm very fond of the horse scene where he's got the horse kicking people in the faces. I was like, that's creative. I also like the scene where he's throwing the throwing knives.
Yeah,
That was fun too. But I love the Paris sequence in number 4. I love it. And there was a lot of world expansion in number 4. And maybe I also too are impartial to the I kind of like the condensity of 3, 2, 1, where it's just kind of John moving forward. There's a lot of moving pieces in number 4, which I like and I enjoyed. But if it's just John, I guess we get more kind of centralized focus on different types of fighting and action. However, again, I think number 4 was probably the most artistic. I love the cinematography. I love so many of the shots. And as we talked about, I mean, I've watched these all pretty back to back within the last 2 weeks or so. Maybe I need to watch them again. But I think I'm going 3, 4, 2, 1.
Ooh,
Ooh,
you're putting the
interesting.
base movie at the bottom, huh?
Wow.
The ante is upped every time.
That is true. The ante
Yep.
does increase every time.
Yep. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm still a fan though. Still a fan,
All right.
as we all are.
Yes.
John Wick fans. I think that concludes kind of our John Wick chapter 4. Any final thoughts? Any parting words before we close this off? Before we're excommunicado?
I'm kind of conflicted if I want a John Wick 5. Part of me is like, yes, more. Give me more John Wick. Never stop making them. But the story had a very satisfying end here. So it's like one of those things where like, do you want to be left with a good taste in your mouth with the character and with the series focusing on John Wick as a person? Or do you want them to keep going until they eventually fumble the bag? At that point, you're like, oh, John Wick 1 through 7 were great. John Wick 8, oh, I don't know what they were. They
geez.
cancel it here.
But then he got in a spacesuit and started fighting on Mars.
They keep it's kind of like Fast. It's kind of like Fast and Furious. They keep upping the ante every time. If these movies keep going, eventually he's going to space. Eventually he is.
We the Martians are here for you, Mr. Wick.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's kind of where I am. It's like I want more, but at the same time, I want it to end on a good note as well. So
Fair point. Anybody else?
I look forward to Mission Impossible 7 as our next kind of big action-focused film that, I mean, there's other action films that are going to come out this year, but in terms of like, you're going to be served something that's like a big spectacle. I look forward to Mission Impossible. I think John Wick and Mission Impossible has really been serving us, so look forward to continued conversation.
Okay.
Ethan versus John Wick.
Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt. Ethan Hunt.
I think John Wick wins that fight.
Yeah, it should. But you
Throwing
never
that
know.
out there.
You never know. It's got the power of Scientology. We can run forever.
Exactly.
Sure. Why not? Okay then. Okay. All right. Okay, we're closing this off. Thank you for listening to us here at the Yonko table. Thank you again for listening on all your what is it called? Podcast listening stations. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you go. Thank you for following us on all social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Things popping off on TikTok. Check out Dr. Jace on Twitch and the YouTube channel. I got big things over there too. And of course, if you ever like to converse with us a little more, please go ahead and follow the link to join the Discord where we can continue this discourse. But that's it from us here at the Yonko table. I'm your Yonko host, Grandmaster Hoop, fellow Yonko, Dr. JaceAttorney, and Supernovas, Dr. Rika and Rose the Crafter. I think we're going to sign off by saying
you never
John
not
Wick.
on my mind.
No, stop that. Stop that. You're going to say a John Wick quote. Any character, go ahead. Go now.
I need a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody please get this man a gun.